Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda Dittlinger and I am a neurodivergent woman. I have aphantasia, which is the inability to visualize in your mind's eye. I have a memory disorder called SDAM, and I am on the journey to getting an autistic diagnosis. And I have videos on all these topics. Today, I'm going to kind of give a little bit of a life update and also kind of go into some of the aphantasia in this video. So life update, this month has been the longest year ever. And what I mean by that is that there's been so much that has happened in the month of September. So my kids who've been homeschooled their whole life started public school on actually August 31st. Us autistic people really like to be literal, but you know, let's say this last month of September. And they started public school. Then they got a diagnosis of autism for themselves like a week into being in the public school system. We had been working on the diagnosis, but you know, a lot of people realize that it can be a lengthy process. So they finally got their official diagnosis. And so we were trying to work in the US with getting accommodations because they were definitely having sensory issues in school. And basically the sensory issues just were not working. Everything was very overwhelming. And yes, yesterday we ended up withdrawing them. The school was wonderful. They were really trying to work with us, but it just was not the right setting for my kids. We also have been researching and working to find a service dog for one of my kids. So Ira, who has always been an animal lover, now has this, I think would be a really good fit for having a psychiatric service dog. And I was able to find a local trainer, and we're going to work with them to train a psychiatric service dog. So I will give updates on that process also through this channel, just because I know that there needs to be a lot more education around what service dogs can provide. And I think Milo is absolutely adorable. He's an Aussie Doodle. I'm going to post a picture of him and Ira right here. And he is currently living at the trainer's house, and we'll be visiting him frequently. So a lot has happened, and that's just, you know, the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that have happened in this month, because also, you know, I've also been working on getting a diagnosis for myself, and you know, it's just been a really crazy month. So, you know what? This too shall pass, and we're going to get through it. Oh, and just so you know, we withdrew them from public school, but we are going to continue with public school education for now, and they're going to do an online virtual academy. So we're getting them transferred into an online school, which I think is going to be a really good fit for them. And we're going to make sure that they are going to continue their Taekwondo. They are both black belts in Taekwondo, and they're going to keep that up, and they're looking at some other social activities that they can incorporate too. So if you hear me messing with, my current fidget of the day is my magnets. Non-sponsored, I just love these things. They're called Specs, and there's 512 tiny little magnets in this little bundle, and they are awesome. They help me think. Okay, so let's get to the meat of this this video, and I want to talk a little bit more about aphantasia. So aphantasia is the inability to visualize in your mind's eye. And a couple days ago, I posted a reel on Instagram that was really cute. Make sure you check me out. I am Mind Blind on Instagram, which I think I might be updating the name of the channel to match my Instagram, but that's neither here nor there. But keep in mind, most of the time when you see a 1.5 minute short or reel or TikTok, there's so much more information that just cannot get fit into that small time slot, right? So I did this reel called I Can't Unsee That, and I kind of wanted to expand on that in this video. So that's a common phrase. People say all the time, oh my God, I can't unsee that. And it can be from anything from something like kind of traumatic to something silly. There's a huge like Twitter thread, if you Google it, where you'll see memes where people will talk about how, oh my God, I can't unsee the fact that my dog looks like my brother, or I can't unsee like I walked in on my parents and now I can't unsee that, or what are some of the other ones? There's just so many. So with Aphantasia, we don't see it to begin with in our mind's eye, right? So we actually see the thing. We see the image or the situation. Of course, in real life we see it. But one of our Aphantasia superpowers is that we're not going to be able to relive that image in our head on a continuous loop. And that's what people who say, oh my God, I can't unsee that. What'll happen for them, from the way it's explained to me, that image or like maybe a little video reel, because some visualizers see in still images and some visualizers actually can play like little mini movies in their mind. It all sounds very magical to me, who cannot see anything except for blackness in my mind's eye. So let's say it's just an image that'll pop up in their mind, and it's like it kind of can sometimes be pervasive and they can't get it out of their head, and sometimes it can just kind of be in the background, but sometimes it will just keep coming in depending on how like traumatizing the thing is. Sometimes, like I said, they're really, really silly things, and sometimes it could be something that is more trauma. And it's like for the trauma one, for me, like for Aphantasia, I can't I don't unsee it. I don't see it, but I can still relive the trauma of it. So, trigger warning, because this one's really hard, but yeah, skip ahead if you don't want to hear this part. But I was on a road trip one time and somebody did not have their dog in the back of their truck in a crate, and that dog flew off the side of the road. And I'm not going to go into any more details. I can't thankfully replay that in my head because it was very traumatizing. But every time I think about that, and even with my memory disorder, it was so traumatizing that it is something that if I see a dog in the back of a pickup truck, it will remind me of that event that had happened. So I don't replay that video or that image of what happened in my head. I can't, thank goodness. But the upset feelings of what happened still can affect me. So even though people with Aphantasia cannot replay images that they don't want to keep reliving in their head, it doesn't mean that we can't dwell on them. I do think it is a superpower, because not being able to actually relive that experience completely does, in a way, protect us, or at least for me. Everybody with Aphantasia is going to have a different experience. I always put that down as a disclaimer, but for me, I think it does help make things that could be traumatic events less traumatic, but we still can, be upset by the knowledge of the thing that we can't unsee, if that makes sense. Anyway, I know that one's a little dark. I wish I could have come up with a more happy image of something that I couldn't unsee. But I think that's actually kind of part of the point. If there's no trauma to it, and if it's just some silly little thing that people can't, oh my God, I don't want to keep having that image in my head. If it's not anything that's traumatic, it kind of just does. It doesn't stick with me enough to be a pervasive thought. So it is something that I basically unsee at that point, because if it's not there in real life, I can't even remember that it happened, because it's not going to keep coming up as a image or a movie over and over and over. Anyway, please comment down below. Let me know if you're a visualizer, what's that thing that you're like, oh my God, I wish I could unsee that. It comes up every once in a while, pops in my head, and I think about it, and it drives me crazy. I would love to hear what your stories are. If you're another person with aphantasia, do you kind of relate to the fact that what I'm saying about the trauma events kind of sticking with us more? And even though we don't see it, we can kind of sort of relive those feelings of the event. And otherwise, make sure you hit subscribe and help this channel grow so that we can tell more people about all these kind of crazy neurodivergencies. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.